Hi students, today we are working on lesson 5, least common multiple. Your objective, students will be able to determine the common multiples and the least common multiple of a set of numbers. All right, so let's get started. When we talk about the least common multiple, we are talking about the products of whole numbers. That's what multiples are. So if we think of our times tables, all of these numbers in the middle are multiples of other numbers. For example, 8 is a multiple of 4 because 4 times 2 equals 8. 25 is a multiple of 5 because 5 times 5 equals 25. 21 is a multiple of 7 because 7 times 3 equals 21. The multiples are what you get when you skip count. So today we are looking at finding the least common multiple of a set of numbers. So our directions might say, find the least common multiple, or LCM, of 2 and 5. So what I need to think of is if I list my multiples of 2 and my multiples of 5, what's the first or least multiple in common? So let's use our times tables. Now I'm focusing on my multiples of 2 and 5 for this problem. So I'm going to start by looking at my 2's. And then I'm going to look at my 5's. And that's the only place I'm focusing in. Only looking here for this problem. Multiples of 2 and multiples of 5. Let's start out by finding all of the common multiples. That means that the number appears in both of my lists. Now, I don't have a 2 over here. I don't have a 4 over here, or a 6, or an 8. Oh, I do see a 10 in both of my lists. 10 is a common multiple of 2 and 5. Let's see what else I can find in common. 15, 20. Oh, I found 20 is a common multiple. When I count by 2's and 5's, I'll get 20. And that could go on and on and on and on and on. Now, the reason that we focus on the least common multiple and not a greatest common multiple is because numbers count on forever. I can always keep adding another number. So we will never be asked to find the greatest common multiple because numbers are infinite. They will go on forever. So for this skill, we are working on the least common multiple, the first multiple that appears in both of our lists. And we can see that 10 is the first number that we find in both of our lists, not 20. That's just a common multiple. So the least common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10. Now you could do this without a times table chart for sure. What I like to do is to make a T-chart. And a T-chart is pretty much a T, and you put the numbers you're working with up at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and start listing multiples of 2 and 5. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now, I don't go crazy. I usually list a few at a time, and then I'll do the other number. Let's do some 5's. Keeping in mind, if I repeat any of these numbers, I found my answer. 5, 10. Wait a minute. I remember writing a 10 when I was doing multiples of 2. And it didn't take me very long to find 10 in my multiples of 5. So 10 is in both of my lists. Therefore, 10 is the least common multiple of 2 and 5. Let's do another example. Let's find the least common multiple of 4 and 10. You could use your times table chart for sure. We're looking at 4 and 10. So I'd focus on my multiples of 4. And then over here on my multiples of 10. And you could go down both lists and find something in common. Take a second and see if you can find something in common. All right. So let's check and see if you found the least common multiple. We'll check it with a T-chart. I have 4 and 10. And I want to list the multiples or skip counting by 4 and 10. Now I'm going to just do a few at a time. I'm not going to go crazy and make a huge long list. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Now let's do some tens, keeping in mind if any of these numbers are in my tens, it's a common multiple. 10, 20, wait, I remember writing a 20 when I listed my 4 multiples, and there it is. And that's the first number in common. Therefore, 20 is my least common multiple. All right. So why are we learning least common multiple in a chapter that's dealing with some fraction work? Because we can use the least common multiple when we do something in our next chapter with adding and subtracting fractions. All right. We're going to need to find the least common multiple to make something called a common denominator. But we'll get to that in the next chapter. For now, that's it for least common multiple. Remember that sometimes the problems can get a little more complicated. You might be given 3 numbers to work with, such as maybe 5, 6, and 10. And in that case, you would have to make a T-chart with all 3 numbers. And I know I said that was it for now, but let's just do one more because why not? So let's do our T-chart for 5, 6, and 10. This skill is so much fun, I can do it all day. All right, so I want to find a common number in all 3 lists, not just 2 of them. Let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Let's count by 6s. And remember, we're looking for some of these in common. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. Let's do some 10s. I don't see anything in common yet, do you? No. 10, 20, 30. Wait a minute. 20 was in my multiples of 5, but not in my 6s, so that can't work. 10 was also in my 5s, but not my 6s. 30 is in my 6s, but not my 5s. 40 and 50. Let's go back now that we have a couple for each, and nothing has been in common yet, so I'm going to keep going. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Oh, wait, put on your brakes. Did you see it? 30, 30, 30. The first number that appears in all of our lists of multiples is 30, and that is the least common multiple of 5, 6, and 10. All right, this is it for real now. I'll see you next lesson. Bye.